Hello.
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 Yeah, you are most welcome. Most welcome to all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are, depending on the time you are on. Distinguished guests, our esteemed speakers, colleagues, and participants from around the globe, a very warm welcome to this international seminar, Transformation and Emerging Technologies for Sustainable Development. My name is Dr. Engineer Mu'min Jafar Mumbere, and I'm deeply honored to serve as your moderator today on this discussion that is really great for the globe as well. We are living in an era of unprecedented kind of technological change. And we have it that digital transformation and emerging technologies are not just buzzwords or taken over. They are powerful forces reshaping our societies and communities, our economies, as well as industries. We believe that they hold the immense potential to drive sustainable growth and as well as enhancing efficiency and create innovative solutions to our most pressing global challenges, from climate change and healthcare accessibility to the quality of education, as well as economic inclusion. Today, we have gathered experts from esteemed institutions that I will later introduce to you. We have gathered academicians, industry leaders, as well as future thinkers. These will explore how the transformation and emerging technologies is concerned. Our goal is to dissect how these technologies can be hastened to accelerate the achievement of the SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as to further a dialogue that bridges innovation with sustainability, inclusivity, as well as resilience. We believe that we have an exceptional lineup of renowned speakers who will share their invaluable insights across key themes like artificial intelligence, blockchain, smart cities, and ethical dimensions of technology. This is more than just a seminar. It is a collaborative platform for knowledge exchange. And I would greatly encourage you all to engage actively in the discussions through the question and answer features, or as well as the comments. If at all you have a question, then please kindly write it down, and the speakers will be trying to give more lights about your question. Before we proceed, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the organizing committee here at Nile University of Science and Technology and our partner institutions that we have lined up for making this event possible. And among the institutions, we have the Premier University from Bangladesh, is one of the prominent private institutions or universities in Bangladesh, located in Chattogram. It offers a wide range of academic programs in science, engineering, business, as well as humanities. We also have NILM University, which is located in India. It's based in India, is a multidisciplinary institution that emphasizes on research, innovation, and global learning. And this university provides a dynamic academic environment that integrates modern technology with sustainable development principles. We also have the World University of Bangladesh as well. Is a distinguished private university offering quality higher education in engineering and business. I welcome you all to today's seminar. Without further ado, let us embark on this journey of discovery together. The future is not just something we enter, it is something we create. And together today, we are here to shape it. Thank you. As we dive into our today's seminar or conference, I would like to have our today's first speaker. The quality of our dialogue today hangs on the insights of our distinguished speakers, and we are privileged to have such a renowned panel with us. It is now my distinct pleasure To introduce our first speaker who will set the stage for our discussions. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor SM Nasru Kwadir, the Vice Chancellor, Premier University. Sir, you are most welcome.
Sorry?
You want to continue?
On what is topic?
Digital technology.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Munim, and the other who joined this Zoom meeting, online meeting. At first, I'd like to introduce our Ms. Faiza, is the counselor of our International Affairs Office. We have with us Professor Tuton Chandra is the head of the Tripoli department, and Mr. Kingshuk is also representing the CSC department. Very unfortunate, yesterday we lost our chairman, previous chairman, Sayyid Muhammad Minhas Hussain. He expired yesterday. So now Mr. Kingshuk will just continue with us. I think it's better to give the floor to Mr. Toton first. He can speak on that because it needs a subject specialization. Though I am from the business school, so I would like to invite Mr. Toton to have a discussion on the subject.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nakir, I think. I spelled
And Mumin also.
And also I am thanking my VC sir to give me the floor. And thank you, the organizer. So, digital transformation with sustainable development. It's an actually emerging technology, an emerging idea for this situation now. And we are actually, as a department, Tripoli department in Premier University, we are doing some work how to change our technology for the sustainable development. And in our country, we faced some problem regarding in some areas we found some problem about scarcity of water, especially in the region where salty water is coming. And for this purpose, we are trying to develop a grey water technology, which is an emerging requirement for the clean water. And we develop a technology how to take the grey water from the washroom and different resource and then make it clean and use it again for the gardening and for the car washing and also for the toilet flush. And when we started the work, we faced some challenges. The first challenge is that when we want to convert a building to make a grey water plant, the problem is that we need to start working with the development phase of that building. Like we need to talk with the architecture department because we have need some plumbing. We need some plumbing work. So if that needs plumbing work, if it's an old building, we cannot do this. So we are at this stage we are only use this technology. We are only using these technologies to the place where actually the building is start to growing. Because before after the architecture and after the plumbing work, we cannot actually develop that grey water projects. So now we are trying to develop change our idea in an extent how to build it in the old building, so we can have a good grey water project. Because we know every day for the toilet flush, we are actually for every time when we flush a toilet tank, which is like 5 to 7 liters of water we are wasting. So this is a huge amount of water. So if we count a family like a 4 or 5 persons, every day they are actually using around like 80 to 100 liters of water. We are wasting about 80 to 100 liters of water. So if we use the grey water project perfectly, we can actually fill some SDG goals. So we know that there are 17 SDG goals. So we are working on that. And also the building where the Tripoli department located, we did some research work with some of our faculties and students. We want to actually convert the energy uses to the green technology. So we did some feasibility study, especially for the lights and fan, not for the AC, only for the light and fan. The area we have on the rooftop, we might convert it to the solar energy. So it's it will be a good work, because we are for the solar, we need green technology. Because of green technology, in Bangladesh, solar is the most prominent part according to the geolocation. Also, recently, some researchers are working on particle wind turbine, and recently I have opened a project with my students about the feasibility study of particle wind turbine for the highway. Actually, if we place the divider on the highway, if we place the particle wind turbine, maybe we can generate some electricity. That will be the green energy. So we are trying to actually change our situation, because to adopt the SDG goals, we are trying to change our situation to adopt the SDG goals because in our country there are some challenges we have to face, like when we talk about the grey water projects, people mindset are not interested to use their hand wash water to again for their to reuse for their gardening and car wash, or even for the toilet plan. So we have to change the mindset of the people, because in some places the water scarcity is not the dominant problem of our country now, but in our analysis, after 10 years, it becomes a problem. So when it's an issue now, when people are getting water available, it is really difficult to make them understand that there will be a problem. We must change now to solve the problem in future. But it is difficult. We are facing that one of the challenges there. And another challenge is that in Bangladesh, we have a rainy season. It's like around 2.5 months. And also we have winter. So for the solar at the summer stage, like for 6 to 8 months, I think around 6 to 7 months, we get a very good energy. But in another 5 months, it is really tough with that solar energy to continue our work. So when we understand a person or a family, please convert your electricity power to the solar energy, they will ask the question, what will happen after when the winter comes or when the rainy season comes? So it is difficult. So for this, our government took some action about the net metering. So, but the net metering, government is actually at the initial stage of the net metering, I think. So it is not possible for we can provide the net metering situation at the very root level, like when 1 kilowatt power is generated from a house, or 500 watt is generated. So if the grid is not ready to take that 500 watt or 1 kilowatt power through net metering. So this is another problem, but I hope it's within 1 or 2 years, the problem will solve. So in that case, I think net metering is one of the good solutions for this solar energy. And another feasibility study we are trying in our country, because in our country there are so many shops at the street which are like you can say the single storage shop. The rooftop is open, single storage shop. So that shop can be run by the solar power solely. So we are doing some feasibility study in Chittagong city, about that issues. So how can we convert that? We normally call it tong shop. So with that shop we can convert it to the solar energy. So I think huge amount of power can be converted to the green energy. So in our as educators, I feel that we must extend our research in sustainable development, because the problem with because the SDG goals, the 17 SDG goals, even not all the educators from different departments, they are not concerned about that goals. I think we need some seminars, we need some training about that SDG goals. So that kind of training might change their minds to how to cope up with that sustainable development. So it is a great challenge, because changing mindset is really difficult. Because we are not aware of the SDG goals. So some people know, some people doesn't. Some people doesn't understand what is clean energy. Some people doesn't understand the situation of the CO2 emission. So we must let people know about this situation, about the situation about SDG goals. So if they knew regarding that SDG goals, then they might change their research topics. They might change their current research to comply with the SDG goals, because because especially CSN Triple department, they are working on different projects. But the problem is that if we are not aware of the SDG goals, we cannot change our research, or we cannot divert our research to the cope with the SDG goals. That's the one problem. So as a department, we are trying to change it. We are focusing. We try to make our students focus on renewable energies and sustainable development.
It's raining outside.
So for this, I think we have some modification in our curriculum. We did some modification in our curriculum, and we recently did some seminars about that. But I think as a whole country, the other universities also need to do some stuff. So I think this kind of seminar is eye-breaking for the people who are working on that. So I think we should work on together. We should work together regarding this proposal. When there are some universities from Bangladesh, I have seen the World University, and also there are universities from Sri Lanka and India. So in future, we might work together about the research in the scope of sustainable development. So I want to conclude that in future, in my country, also we have some official about 2041 regarding sustainable development. In my country, they are recently developed some power plant, only solar-based power plants, and so I think the roadmap is okay for our country regarding sustainable development, but the speed is bit slow. The pace is bit slow, because if we read some article that if we are not concerned about the CO2 emission within 2035 or 2040, after 2050, maybe the situation, it's not the pace of the world is not in the kind of situation that we can recover. So if we want to make our world safe, we have to take steps very soon, because after 2050, I think there is a famous book of Bill Gates. We showed that after 2050, if we don't get focus on now, after 2050, it would be difficult to recover the situation, recover the global warming situation. So it's the right time to to accept this challenge and overcome these challenges. So if you have, I want to conclude now. So if you have any question regarding our projects, so we can ask. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. A representative from Premier University. I'm sorry I didn't note down the name very well. but I think along the way, I will have to note it down. Oh, good. Thank you so much. So that has been an insightful and inspiring kind of message and presentation. Your valuable thoughts and deep analysis have truly enriched our understanding of the topic. The way you highlighted the connection between technology, innovation, and as well as sustainable development, as and of course a match to reflect on. We sincerely appreciate the time and effort you have dedicated to preparing such a meaningful contribution to this seminar. Thank you once again for being part of this academic exchange and for adding immense value to our discussion. The questions I will be checking in the comments because we are live on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm trying to see here and there whether questions will be available. In case, I'll be noting them down, and please, I will be reading these questions depending on a particular speaker's topic. For now, we shall move on. Maybe before we go to our next speaker is, I would beg to guide that we should be, we should prepare, we should present, if at all we have something to share on maybe sharing the screen. I think that would be great for our viewers outside there to be knowing particularly our topic or what we are simply talking about. Now we move on to our next session. It is my pleasure to invite our next distinguished speaker. And this is Dr. Nakir Choribona Kada, who serves as a guest speaker at the moment at Nile University of Science and Technology. He will be presenting Economic Education, Society and Policy in Digital Age, covering areas like measuring the impact of digital transformation on SDGs, which will further expand our understanding of our today's central theme on digital transformation and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Nakir Choribona. The virtual floor is yours, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Momin Jafar. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir al-amr wahlul 'uqdatan min lisan yafqahu qawli. Gentlemen and ladies, without being specific, I may not be knowing exactly your time zones, depending on where you are. Mr. Moderator, am I able to be heard?
Yeah, you could, Dr. Naki, you could at least increase on your volume. Try to be audible enough. Thank you.
Okay. Am I?
Yes, you are.
Sir,
Yes, you are, sir.
Please mute.
You are mute. Dr. Naki?
There now?
Dr. Naki, you're mute.
Trying to turn up my microphone. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are now.
Thank you, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Like I had said a little earlier, I know we have people of different dignitaries from different, time zones of the world. I may not be sure whether I should greet you good morning, afternoon, or evening or night, if you may. And I know that we have very many people connected or tuned in here with different dignitaries, where I may not be sure of the protocol or even order, if you may. But ladies and gentlemen, allow me say that how are you? That's not beautiful. I am today going to be talking about the topic, which is education, society, and policy in digital age. And I will, in the same vein, be talking about a subtopic under that topic, which is measuring the landscape of digital transformation on the world sustainable development goals, the SDGs, if you may. And as a matter of fact, I want us to start and gain just a few insights of the objectives, which objectives I hope that by the end of this paper, inshallah, we should have maybe realized them. And one of it is we need to examine the economic impact and analyze how educational changes contribute to economic development and workforce readiness. And two, we need to explore the role of education in promoting gender and social equity. Three, among the four, we need to identify the challenges posed by inequality that can undermine education progress. And maybe the last one, suggest effective methods in line with policy for measuring the impact and the risk associated with education initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me go straight ahead and try to gain an insight of the overview. But in the context of the World Sustainable Development Goals, digital transformation to me is a strategic adoption of digital technologies to promote sustainable development, to enhance social inclusion, to drive growth and improve governance in any case. And so it aims to leverage digital tools to address global challenges, such as, you can say, poverty, you can talk of education, inequality, ensuring that no one is left behind across all the sectors. I want to begin by quoting from UNESCO. UNESCO in 2022 underscores the transformative role of education and technology in driving sustainable development and addressing global challenges. In its portal, the digital literacy portal, and I quote, it says, digital transformation in education is not just a technical shift, but it is a societal one with profound measurable impacts across the entire Sustainable Development Goals framework. And that is UNESCO in 2022. But hey, before we look at the roles of digital transformation and then link it to directly to the SDGs, to policy, and then measure its impact, it is again very imperative that we gain a factual understanding of SDGs performance with most African countries. Most of them, where I want to base my talk today, from most African countries. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something that I want to bring to your attention, and I'm sure that everyone knows. If you look at the World Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, if you may, the ones that double as well as United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, you will realize that 17, as they line them up, from no poverty to zero hunger to good healthy care and well-being, I'm trying to put them in their order, to quality education, to gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry and innovation, reduced inequality, I think that's number 10, etc., name it. To be very honest, I can conclude with no shadow of doubt whatsoever that the sub-Saharan Africa and the African continent has not performed to expectation. And I cannot be shy to say that it is still lacking. And I say that that is where I'm going to base my discussion of the day today. Having said that, I want us to go ahead and gain an insight and say that it is important to note that a country's decision to invest in its national digital infrastructure directly affects society's progress. I think that is evident. It affects the society's progress and so the education sector, because to change a nation in any sector, I believe it begins with education. And so according to me, any countries, especially in the sub-Saharan Africa and Africa at large, to measure the impact of digital transformation on the sustainable development goals is not just by measuring the number of tablets. I have seen several, most of them distributing computers to schools, tablets to schools, laptops. It's not the internet connectivity, but I would rather infer and think that a country would look at the following, maybe improvement in digital literacy scores in schools, or reduction in the performance gaps between urban and then the rural students, if you may. And as a matter of fact, we need to delve deeply and measure the impact basing on 3 scopes. And that's what I called access, where you look at, the number of households, the percentage of households with connectivity and learning devices. Where you have to look at the second one, quality, 3 scopes. Quality. How about quality? Students' competencies in digital literacy and critical thinking. Equity, parity or numbers in digits or skills outcome across gender, income, and maybe the geography, if you may, in that same manner. And so in Africa, where most countries are still struggling, with issues of education, limited access to education, poverty, food insecurity, poor health care, name it. All these are still prevalent. The measure of adopting to digital transformation that would accelerate the progress towards SDGs is still a dream, and a dream indeed. Though quote me well, though some countries have tried to move a mile. So digital transformation fueled, if you look at countries that have reached there, it fuels quite a lot. There are many technologies, emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, Internet of Things, and all this is being fundamentally reshaping the education sector. So with profound implications of society and policy in digital age. So these directly impact on the achievement of the SDGs. In education, which is SDG, I think, 4, digital tools enhance access to personalized learning. If you look way back during the pandemic session, COVID-19 stricken, years, 2020 and part of 2021, most of the shift saw many countries, institutions, companies, organizations shifting to using enhanced digital tools to access personalized learning and foster inclusivity in improving outcomes, and most of them particularly in marginalized communities. For example, AI-driven platforms can tailor educational content and individual needs, while on-learning expands reach to remote areas. And so our central thesis today, basically, I'm going to be looking at the digital transformation of education and its representation as a profound societal revolution, far exceeding the mere, what people just look at it from the front, mere digitization, to digitize of classrooms. Somebody digitizes classrooms and feels that is all. No. It is a powerful cross-cutting issue, if I may say, a cross-cutting force that fundamentally reconfigures access to knowledge, shapes the future skills for the economy, and then the readiness to social equity. So this directly contributes to the achievement of, I think, SDG number 4, which is equity, education, and positivity, while influencing goals such as gender equality and reduced inequalities. So this transformation not only empowers individuals with skills necessary for the digital age, but also equips societies to take, to tackle, I would say, the pressing global challenge of digital literacy. As a matter of fact, it is important to note that digital transformation necessitates a more robust, a more well thought of policy intervention focused on infrastructure, that is very important, focused on curriculum development, that is important, focused on policy and regulations, and then modernization in schools, which is the center to steer the entire transformation. Because I want to believe as an educator that it begins from the school, but taking a bigger framework, governments must have done much more with the infrastructure, with the curriculum, and then policy, which is where I am trying to base my school of thought on. Consequently, when we measure the impact that requires multidimensional agendas to assess tangible outcomes, ensuring that the net effect of these powerful tools, the AI, the blockchain, name it, accelerate equitable progress across the entire sustainable development goals spectrum. So the impact of digital transformation on sustainable development goals can be measured based on just three, and I named them. The first one being gender equality. The second one being decent workforce and economic growth. The third one being reduced inequality. And in education, taking it as one of the first areas that can be impacted on directly, as my topic lies on education and change, which is Sustainable Development Goal number 8. Education change extends into the economy, the workforce. It highlights greatly how improved education drives economic growth and enhances workforce readiness. Well, when individuals receive quality education, ladies and gentlemen, we all know they acquire the necessary skills and the knowledge to participate effectively in the labor market. And that's important. So this not only increases their employability, but also contributes to the overall productivity and innovation within the economy. And so as a result, a well-educated population can lead to increased economic stability, can lead to growth, and demonstrates the crucial link between education and the sustainable economy for development. I will go ahead and look at impact number 2, education and social equity, which is number 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals. The effect, I will call it ripple effect, emphasizes the impact on education, impact of education on social equity. It looks at particularly the gender equality. So by providing equal education opportunities for all genders, I said by providing equal education opportunities for all genders, for societies, we realize that the disparities that can limit women's participation in the workforce and the landscape diminishes. And I will give you an example. Basing on the same ripple effect, educated women are more likely, women on this platform maybe can as well guide and whether this is true or false. An educated woman or mother or wife, if you may say, if you have one that is educated, an educated woman more likely can make informed choices. I think we can all abide by each other about many things, from the health to family to well-being to nurturing the children to career growth and development, thereby breaking cycles of poverty and empowering future generations. So this interconnectedness, interlinkedness illustrates how educational advancements can lead to significant progress in achieving gender equality and then foster inclusiveness of societies. A good example, like I stated it there, I will draw it from one of the countries in East Africa called Rwanda. Rwanda on the African continent is performing well. And you know why? Look, World Bank itself on their gender-based portal shows that by 2022, Rwanda was global leader, was #1 leader. Rwanda is a country in East Africa, was a global leader in gender equity and governance, where 61.3% of the seats in the parliament constituted of women. What does that show? It shows how educated they are. I'll give you the second example. In Rwanda still, from their, they call it GMO, from their Rwanda Gender Monitoring Office, it shows that 49.1%, that's quite a bigger percentage, 49.1% of the women of the workforce, the public sector workforce, constitutes of women, 49.1%. Now, this is amazing. It is amazing but true. And you know why? I'm saying it is amazing but true. Rwanda appoints cabinet ministers from the existing serving parliament. It means that the effect still spills over to their cabinet. that quite a good percentage are women. And like we talked about, the same way we talked about equity, where a woman is educated, same way a man is being educated. You realize that the decisions like I talked about prior, that they make greatly impact a lot on society. And society is where everything begins. Our communities is where everything begins. I want to continue by going to challenge number 3, the effect of this digital transformation on what I said earlier. The third is inequalities. Inequalities is Sustainable Development Goal number 10. This effect highlights the challenge of inequality, which can undermine the positive impact of educational progress. So while education has the potential to uplift individuals and communities, systemic barriers can prevent marginalized groups from accessing equal education. In the world, go to any continent, Africa, go to Asia, go to their communities that are marginalized. I'll give you examples. In Africa, we have the Pygmies, it's a marginalized community. We have the albinos, it's a marginalized community. Recently, the LGBTQ had become so much, popular. But because of the African culture, these as well were being detested and marginalized. And so that's where I'm basing this argument, that while education has the potential to uplift individuals and communities, the systemic barriers can prevent marginalized groups like those I just mentioned from accessing equal education opportunities. And so this inequality can perpetuate, in my own view, cycles of poverty and limit social mobility, leading to a widening gap between privileged and the underprivileged. The privileged being the communities with majority, and the underprivileged being the communities which are marginalized. And so addressing these inequalities, ladies and gentlemen, is crucial to ensuring that they benefit education and equality, and then the distribution of resources across board. As a matter of fact, I want to go ahead and talk about the unintended negative consequences. While, wallahi, all of us cherish digital transformation, whereas we look at the lit part of digital transformation, whereas we look at emerging technologies, the blockchain, the Internet of Things, name it, the benefits of digital technologies in the education are significant in the sector of education. It has no question about that. But the essential acknowledgement of the dark side, the however side, is potential for the unintended consequences to be addressed. What are these unintended consequences? In 2019, I was reading United States report on cybersecurity and the related cyber crimes. I happen to be a student of cybersecurity. I happen to be a student of networks and information security management. But you realize that they say that 52% of the cybersecurity crimes that affected the entire United States were from phishing as a cyber threat. Now, we are talking about all these technologies. Remember, I told you that I am basing my talk on sub-Saharan Africa and Africa at large, where we still have some issues and struggling here and there with the digital transformation and the full, going full blast. So, whereas we struggle with this, there is one dark side that we are not looking at. The issues of privacy concerns that arise when data is being collected, sorted, the misuse, call it the whole process of data mining. okay, data mining, you realize that the principle of information security, the CIA, the confidentiality, the integrity and availability, and then etc., name others, all this may be one dark part of digital transformation that we may not, be looking at. And so these challenges underscore the need for responsible implementation of education technologies that ensures that all these drive progress, but not compromising on the ethical standards or environmental sustainability. And therefore, I am going to talk about this challenge before I conclude. But before I talk about it, I want to pose a question. And this is the question. How do we truly know what the net effect is? The effect of digital transformation and its ripple effects on the society, on education, on all this. How do we truly know what the net effect is? Your answer is as good as mine. But look, we cannot manage what we cannot measure. This is evident. If you cannot measure something, you may not manage it. It is up to when you get a measure of what you're talking about, and then you can manage it. And to me, the traditional metrics, like the number of devices distributed, entirely inadequate, failing to capture the critical dimensions like education quality and digital literacy, or the deepening inequalities. Look, the challenge forces a necessary transition from simply describing the problem to proposing actionable solutions, to demanding for new frameworks that can quantify the real-world influence on specific goals like quality education. So the broader society aims reduces the inequalities. So ensuring that our technological investments are genuinely driving inclusivity and what we call sustainability progress, certain things must be addressed. And I will propose some of these measures. So to assess the impact, we must go beyond simplistic metrics and adopt multidimensional agendas that evaluate digital transformation across the three scope areas. The first scope area, like I talked about in the beginning, is access. The second one is equity. The third one is quality. It means that measuring not just the infrastructure, but its tangible outcomes. For instance, shifting from just counting, you see, I've seen countries, it happened in Kenya, distributing tablets to schools, and then going ahead to do trainings. But if you don't measure it right from the infrastructure, the curriculum, the policy, regulations, you are as good as writing on water. So by employing this structured approach, okay, of going down to look at the curriculum like I'm going to talk about maybe in the near future, we can generate a holistic actionable scorecard that reveals whether technology is truly fostering inclusive, quality education and contributing positively to the broader sustainable development goals landscape. Or is it merely amplifying existing disparities? Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, allow me to mention three things. The role of policy. Policy, I'm looking at policy now to be one of the key playing factors, indicators. The role of policy on infrastructure. The role of policy on curriculum development. The role of policy on regulation. The role of policy on infrastructure. The most fundamental policy imperative is to treat digital access as an essential public utility. In Uganda, where I happen to come from, they say, one telecom company says, that internet connectivity is everyone's right. It is a public right. Whereas you talk of being a public right, you've not addressed the issue of infrastructure. I think I'm being understood. The infrastructure. Whereas you say it is a public right, you're not addressing the curriculum, because it begins with schools to transform societies. And so this means that governments need or must go down and lead in the building of robust national networks or national infrastructures when it comes to digital transformation, and ensure affordability for all, the communities. Schools is now what I'm looking at, affordability. Whereas you are saying we go digital transformation, like I said, where is the infrastructure? Where is the affordability of some of the Internet of Things? The tools, the devices we use, the connectivity, where is affordability where everyone can jump to that? So we need to lay this physical groundwork for inclusive digital education ecosystem, if I may say. If you look at the second one, which I talked about, policy on the curriculum development, once access is secured to policy, we must as well go ahead and transform what and how students learn to be relevant for the digital age. So this requires fundamental curriculum shift from the rote memorization to fostering critical 21st century skills, including digital literacy, data analysis, computations, critical thinking, online citizenship, ensuring, it is quite a number of things. As I conclude still, I want to go ahead and talk about, I want to compare two case studies. And I want to borrow an example from Uruguay. And Uruguay was one country that it is they had a plan called Plan Sable. Plan Sable of 2007, I think under President Tabore Vazquez. This plan was initiated, and the first large distribution of laptops across the nation, together with Wi-Fi connectivity to all primary schools, to children and the society across the country. Decisively, government addressed the infrastructure issue and access to making Uruguay #1 country, the first country in the world to implement the nationwide 1-to-1 ratio in computing. 1 teacher, 1 computer, 1 student, 1 computer, 1-to-1 ratio. But however, it went far beyond hardware integration and tailored educational platforms with digital content and teacher training, which directly impacted on the equity of learning and reduced the digital divide. The digital divide. So by systematically measuring outcomes like improved digital equality and students' engagement, Plan Sable of Uruguay demonstrated that with comprehensive policy covering access, the curriculum, the support, the regulation, etc., it was successful at implementing this. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude by calling you to this discussion. I remain Dr. Nakil. Thank you, and thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nakil. Articulated presentation on education, society, and policy in digital age, with a focus on measuring the impact of digital transformation on the sustainable development goals. I'm so much hopeful that your analysis has shed light on how digital transformation is not only reshaping education on social structures, but also driving measurable progress towards achieving the SDGs. We truly appreciate the depth of your research and the clarity with which you connected the theory to practical global implications. I would like now to call upon another speaker. In case of any question about this topic, I will write it down and then ask you maybe at the end of this presentation. Allow me to welcome the Assistant Professor, Dr. Badmasir, the Dean of Faculty of Management Studies, Eurasian Campus, Sri Lanka. Professor, you are most welcome. The floor is yours. Maybe to make it a bit easier for us all, I would like to put some kind of time management that a speaker should be given at least maximally 10 minutes. Minimally could be 5. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mumin Jaffa, moderator, and also thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Good morning to colleagues from Somalia and other colleagues. Good afternoon. So I'm representing Eurasian Campus, Sri Lanka, and of course I'm speaking on a very important topic, like on a very important resource of human resources. So my topic is like digital transformation and emerging technologies for sustainable development. So this is the topic. Okay. Now this is a presentation outline, of course, introduction, overview of the digital transformation and emerging technologies, HR challenges, HR's roles in sustainable development, conclusions and recommendations. I'll try to stick to the time given. And of course, you could see the 21st century workplace be reshaped by digital transformation and industry 4.0 technologies like these artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, Internet of Things, blockchain, big data. Of course, I don't want to go into detail because you are aware these things like there are sort of say high IT savvy people in the forum, and now almost all know about these things. But what we should know is like how we are going to affect it, or what are the challenges that we have to face in this digital era. Now, technology is changing how business operate and redefine the role of nature of human work. So, in that context, of course, HR, human resources management, strategic partner in driving technological adaptation, workforce health and sustainability. So there, the human resource has a big role to play in any organization. Now, as I mentioned down the line, that the digital era, the central challenge of HR is no longer just managing people, because as you can remember, the human resource management, earlier it was person management, which was transformed to a human resource management function, and it's managing people and technology together for sustainable development. Like over the years, now it has been recognized as a partner at the boardroom level. So now in order to maintain that position, to be a real strategic partner of the organization, then you need to sort of say adapt to these digital changes and sort of redefine the role of the human resource management. What is digitalization transformation? Digital transformation refers to integration of digital technologies into the areas of business operations, fundamentally altering how organizations deliver value to stakeholders. So in this context, of course, business operations, like as I said, human resource management is also one of the functions which provide facilitation role and advisory role to any organization. So the integration of digital technologies into human resource management is also a must. Now, this in all automation, data-driven decision-making, remote work and digital collaboration. Now we'll see how this emergent technologies influencing HR. Now, when we talk of recruitment analytics, chatbots, and HR services, this artificial intelligence play a big role. The machine learning, that is predictive analytics for employee turnover. Now, in most of the organization, you find employee turnover is a big challenge, like especially in Sri Lanka, the garment industry, which contributes a major portion to the economic development as well as to on foreign exchange. So the biggest problem that they face this employee turnover. But now in the present context, of course, we can use these emerging technologies, but we have to be mindful that certain outcome that you receive from the internet or sort of say through AI, maybe the recent experience what we feed into that computer. So that has to be borne in mind. Then robotic and automation that is replacing repetitive tasks, basically employees. Like now, in that context, of course, human resource management or especially the human resource development, HRD should play a very active role because in today's context, the reskilling and upskilling is the norm of the day. Like you need to reskill and upskill people of the organization because as we know, IT is changing so fast. What we say is what is relevant in today's context is not relevant in tomorrow's context. So we need to reskill and upskill people. And then Internet of Things, smart workplaces, monitoring employee wellness. There are so many sort of say tools and software for you to monitor the not only the performance of workers, like even their wellness. Then blockchain, then secure HR records, transparent credential verification. That is very, very important. Like when it comes to recruitment, you need to sort of say check about the credentials. Then this emerging technologies would play a very positive role, and also the organization should sort of incorporate these things into their HR systems for them to proceed further. Then cloud computing is very, very important because nowadays, of course, we are talking of paperless work, and then the global HR systems, remote workforce management. These are important tools and important technologies that would affect and influence the HR. I would rather say it would influence than affect it, because if it is going to be affected to the HR function, then of course you are not moving with the trend, and you are not sort of say adapting to the changes happening in the organization. Then shift in workforce models, like rise of remote work and hybrid teams, like now a lot of people work from home, increase in gig and freelance economic workers, then high demand for digital literacy and adaptability, and global competition for digital talent. Like now for a developing country like ours, when there is a global competition for digital talent, like we are affected because most of the youngsters, of course, they prefer to go abroad. And now with the remote working facility, you can work from home and you can work from Sri Lanka and earn a dollar salary. So there are people who could not earlier leave their country because of the family commitment. We have a strong cultural bond with the family. So those people could not earlier sort of go out of the country, but and they are compelled to work in Sri Lanka. But here now in the present context, they can really work for overseas companies for dollar salary while at home. So these are challenges, right? And the core challenges in HRM in the digital era is like talent acquisition and retention. As I said, now there's high competition. Like you can acquire talent, but the biggest challenge is how to return it. The reskilling and upskilling. Then change management and organization culture. Now it's happening very fast now. When people work from home, when there are flexi work arrangements, now there is no employee-employee relationship in the organization, right? Then ethical and legal concerns, of course, and work-life integration and mental health. That is very, very important, because when you're at home, people think like when you work from home, you are very comfortable. But at the end of the day, when you are connected to the system through networks, so you are working with the machine, not with the people. You can't move around, but you don't see people, you don't see your friends. So that mental health and then the isolation, that the monotonous work might definitely affect the output and performance of your work. The managing diversity and inclusion in a tech context. and HR analytics and data-driven decision making. These are very, very important. These are the core challenges in the HRM in the digital era. But of course, I would say all these challenges should be made opportunities, and of course, we should grab these things with both hands. Now, especially if you take Sri Lankan context, because we have been talking of digitalization in the last decade, but things are happening very slow. But when the COVID came, maybe one could say it's a blessing in disguise, or maybe sort of a silver line in the dark cloud. We were compelled to go with the digitalization, and then of course even a ordinary person in the village need to be familiar with the smartphone to purchase their fuel quota. They have to use the QR system, so thereby people got used to it, and of course now it has become a part and parcel of our life. Now, HR role in supporting sustainable development. Now, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. In that context, of course, organization can contribute a lot to their HR role, and industry innovation and infrastructure. There again, the organization can think of innovation, and then for infrastructure, then again it's a challenge for a developing country like ours. Unless the government come forward and provide certain facilities and create the infrastructure, organization can't, especially the small and medium sector organization can't do those things on their own. Then green HRM and digital sustainability. They are, of course, as I said, we are talking of paperless work. Then, like, we can sort of say support the green environment, then the social sustainability and governance and transparency. So these are the HR roles that should be played for a sustainable development, right? Now, in conclusion, I would say these are my conclusion and the recommendations. HR is no longer just administrative function. It's a strategic enabler of digital and sustainable transformation. The human element remains central in an increasingly digitalized world, because there is a sort of say fear when there is digitalization, when there is automation, the HR role will be diluted, and of course people will lose employment opportunities. But I believe it is the other way around. People, if you do attend to these things properly, and if you are sort of say focusing on HRD and upskilling and reskilling of your people to match the requirement of the skills need for in this digital world, then there will not be sort of a redundancy. Then we have to be mindful of this industry 5.0 technologies like human-centric sustainable development. That is collaboration between human and machine. Like, although we sort of say try to do away with the human component, but you can't do it. Whatever the machine gives, of course, unless there is human intervention, you will not be able to come out with a product. Like, you don't see the emotional aspect, the empathy in the AI solutions, but their human intervention is very much involved in that context. The recommendation. So develop a digital HR strategy, integrate technology with human-centered policies. I think this has to be, now earlier, of course, when you develop a HR strategy for an organization or HR manual, it may last for a couple of years. But here, of course, now you have to revisit these things regularly, because this technology is changing so fast. They promote continuous learning. They create a lifelong learning ecosystem for employees. Now, with the changes are happening, and you can develop this and you can create this culture, and especially with the digital world, like there are many opportunities for distant learning. In fact, our university, of course, we provide our students distant learning, like they can join with us from any part of the country at any time, like because of the flexi time, and also now these with the support of other platforms. Then strengthen ethical governance, ensure fairness, data protection, and inclusivity. Now, these are sort of things that we should concern about, like when there are sort of say, when you get data, when you, there are a lot of big data and then databases, of course, then you need to ensure the fairness, ethical aspect, the data protection, and then invest in digital well-being, like manage workload, communication, and mental health digitally. Because as I said, like when you are working with the machine and you are working 24 hours, 7 days, and in that context, of course, you have to manage the workload, and you need to have a sort of say systems to make that monotonous work and align with the SDG goals, embed sustainability in HR practice and performance metrics. So these are very, very important. Like I would like to end up with this, for like in the digital era, the central challenge of HR is no longer just managing people. It's managing people and technology together for sustainable development. You have to have a sort of proper balance with the human and the machine. So that is, in that context, of course, HR can play a bigger role. Technology can transform organization, but only human resourcefulness can sustain them. Like whatever the thing that you do through the digital transformation in order to ensure the sustainability and the continuity, then the human intervention is necessary. In an age of digital transformation, the HR role will transform, never become redundant. Like as I said, now role of HR will transform. You have to sort of say adapt to this new world, and you have to sort of say acquire new skills, and you have to provide these new skills. And in that sense, of course, the role will never become redundant, but it may be much more looked up to by the organization if you perform your role in a productive way. And if you take this challenge as a sort of say, these challenges as opportunities, then of course you will be surviving in this digital world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for the amazing insights that you've given in the areas of the role of HR in the SDG or the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you for this profoundly insightful presentation. Though the time isn't enough, I'm very sure that it has been so much great and impactful. Your perspective on this critical role of human resources in achieving sustainable development goals, I'm very much sure that it is both enlightening and essential. You're skillful, highlighted that beyond technology, it is the people, the skills and equitable organizational practices that truly drive sustainable progress. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to invite Dr. MD Amran Hussein, the Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from the World University of Bangladesh. Please, Prof. Doc, you are most welcome.
Hello, thank you for giving me this opportunity to present in this seminar. So I hope you can see me. Apology for any inconvenience. I will not share my screen. I will just I will just explain like what area we are working and our focus of research at this point. Basically, we are working more on using AI and machine learning technologies to improve human life and the quality of improving lives by integrating AI in terms of recognition activity. So what happens is, as we know that the world is aging, and according to the United Nations, by 2050, there's going to be half of world population age above 60, and it's basically a significant challenge. So, and most of the people who are actually aging will have to be alone at home. Like as days go by, people are getting busy and there's no one to take care of them. So it's a significant portion of the people aging, and we can look at developed countries like Japan and Korea. So basically they have people who died alone in their apartment, and no one really knows like what happened to them, maybe until a week or even months. So we don't want these things to happen frequently as we are moving to the future. That's actually everyone will be busy more with their task and or responsibilities. So to address this challenge, what is the solution? Is basically to employ solutions that can cater and also help people to those who are living alone to actually in emergency situations like identifying when they require medical attention or even any emergency situations that actually family members or even nearby hospitals can be informed. So these all are decided by an intelligent system that actually can be either completely vision based, like we can turn our normal CCTVs into a healthcare monitoring system. Otherwise, we can also, for accuracy, we can integrate these sensors with depth sensor for better estimation as well as keeping it environmentally safe. Because sometimes what happens is when we install cameras in places and monitoring people, the challenge comes is privacy, and it's a big concern everywhere. So part of it can be eliminated by using depth cameras as they sense human basically in a different way rather than those RGB images where we can see the details of a person, but instead using depth cameras, we see like a person's shape, but that doesn't really reveal who they are. In that way, we can actually make people feel safer and also convince them that this system is to help you, to monitor you, instead of revealing your privacy. So far we have done some research on these areas, like identifying different activities, like if a doctor prescribes someone's taking medications 3 times a day, and if they're not taking medication, so basically the system, at this point, our systems are not alerting them, but as we are monitoring more into the person is taking medication, so we know that person has taken the medication, but no alarm systems are there. So in future, we actually aim to incorporate more complex activities. There's also research going on, as I have seen in different parts of the world. People are trying to identify situations where it can detect if the person has fallen down and it requires actually medical intervention. Additionally, we are also working on fields where actually covering sports-related injuries as well as recovering. Because using those AI and machine learning technologies that we are working in the lab, so we hope we'll be able to cover some of the challenging issues that's actually we will encounter in the near future. So basically, that's all for me for the for this seminar. I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and also I'd like to thank all the listeners. If you have any comments, please, or even any questions, please feel free to ask me. So that should be from my side, because I think the seminar is time is quite running short, so I kept it short.
Thank you so much, Doctor, from the World University of Bangladesh, for that great message that you have provided to us, having the exploration of the role of cameras and AI in the digital transformation. It is really fascinating and you have brilliantly demonstrated how this great technology is far more than a simple imaging tool, but also something crucial, that data gateway or powering some advancements in AI or Internet of Things and digital twins could be. Thank you so much. And this drives us to the next speaker, who is Dr. Renu Bala, Head of Department of Library and Information Science. And then after him, I will be welcoming Dr. Tharindu, who is the Dean of Faculty of Information Technology at Eurasian Campus, Sri Lanka. So Dr. Rajiv, you're most welcome from NILM University, India. NILM University, India. If Dr. Rajiv isn't present or is not connected at the moment, I will have his counterpart, who is MD Azim, Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration. Sorry. I will have Dr. Rajiv Pal. Rajiv Pal, the School of Science, Nilm University, India. Rajiv Pal, Doctor, you're most welcome. Okay, as we are waiting for the doctors to join, I think with the interest of time, let's invite Tharindu. Dr. Tharindu, you're most welcome from Eurasian Campus, Sri Lanka. He is a faculty dean of information technology. You're welcome, Doc.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's truly a privilege to be a part of this international panel discussion organized by the Nile University of Science and Technology. And I'm deeply honored to join such distinguished scholars and experts representing India, Bangladesh, Somalia, and also Sri Lanka, as we come together to explore how digital transformation and emerging technologies are reshaping our world towards sustainable development. So let me share the presentation that I have created. I hope everybody can see my screen. So my topic is I'm going to talk about the artificial intelligence for sustainable development. So in that topic, I'm going to talk about mostly transforming education and management. I'm going to put more weight for education since most of us who are here are into education. So as you know, my name is Tharindu Rajatilaka and I'm the Dean of Faculty of Information Technology at Eurasian Campus. So as the opening thought, I would like to bring this bold statement. According to UNESCO 2021, they have said AI is not a silver bullet, but it's a catalyst. So what does that mean? So some people think that AI can solve every problem that we encounter, but it's not true, because we need the human intervention as well. I think most of our scholars have already talked about this. Actually, AI enhances human capacity to solve problems by providing deeper insight and efficiency, but decisions and values remain human responsibilities. For example, in healthcare, IBM, Watson assist doctors in diagnosing diseases like cancer, but human specialists were the one who interpret and apply the results. So as you can see, human intervention is critically important. AI can't solve everything. And also, there's another saying, artificial intelligence is reshaping our world, redefining how societies function, and offering a path toward inclusive and sustainable growth. I took this from Shift 2022. And also it's accelerate progress across all 17 SDGs. As you know, we have 17 Sustainable Development Goals. AI accelerates solutions across global challenges, from education and energy to climate and health, by enabling predictive modeling and smart resource use. The UN, for example, United Nations Global Pulse initiative use AI to analyze big data for real-time progress, tracking toward the sustainable development goals. So as you can see, we can take many decisions. We can take data-driven decisions by using artificial intelligence. So in my presentation, I'm going to mostly talk about AI and also generative AI. As you know, there are so many generative AI apps nowadays, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and then there are so many. Okay. And also it connects innovation with ethical responsibility. And people argue, some people say that, using AI is not ethical for certain areas. For example, AI ensures innovation, respect, fairness, accountability, and transparency principles. And I can take one example from Singapore Model AI Governance Framework 2019. It's a global benchmark ensuring ethical technology deployment. And also it bridges the gap between technology and humanity. This is very important. AI should amplify empathy, creativity, and communication, but should not replace them. As you know, as human beings, we should have empathy. Nowadays, most people say EQ, emotional intelligence, is it creates. I mean, it's really important, critically important than IQ. So, for example, I think most of you know already, Khan's Academy, which is a very famous online platform for education. They have introduced very AI tutor called Kamingo. It's used natural dialogue to promote meaningful learning experience worldwide. So it's compared to ChatGPT, it's more like in empathetic. I mean, like it can understand what students really ask, and you can have like a natural conversation when you ask something from that particular app. And so that is my second slide. And then I'm going to give you the definition of sustainability. The most, as you know, the sustainability is the most, I mean, the famous, like the buzzword in today's society. Everybody talk about sustainability. So some people think the sustainability is just preserving the planet, but it's not, right? So sustainability, as you can see in my definition, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the needs of the future generation. I mean, ability to meet their needs. So that's the definition of sustainability. As you know, there are 3 pillars in sustainability. So environmental sustainability is just one pillar. And apart from that, we have economic sustainability and also social sustainability. So sustainability is not all about preserving the planet or the environment. It's also about preserving the humanity. And also, it's process vast data for efficiency decision making. So I will talk about AI helps leaders quickly interpret massive data sets and act based on accurate, evidence-driven insight. This is really important. Like, for example, Google's DeepMind AI reduced cooling energy in its data centers by 40%, saving both cost and carbon emissions. And also it reduces waste, improves monitoring, and enhances transparency. AI-enabled tracking system optimize operations, reduce waste, and increase accountability in industrial and environmental sector. For example, in Spain, Barcelona, they introduced smart waste bins and use sensors to optimize collection, cutting unnecessary fuel use. And also strengthens ESG outcome. What's the ESG means? Environmental, social, and governance, ESG. Reporting ensure organization meets sustainability standard. For example, Microsoft AI platform monitors and reports carbon emissions across its global supply chain. And also encourage data-driven policy and education reform. AI-driven insight help policymakers to improve education, infrastructure, and healthcare allocation based on measurable data. As we know, most of the people, they take decisions still. So even the leaders in the corporate sector, they take decisions based on their gut feeling. But should we really do that? We should not really do that. We should be rational with our decision. We should take informed decision. To do that, AI can have a huge impact. And for example, UNESCO's AI policy observatory provides government with tool for database education reform. So let me go to the slide 3. How AI is reshaping learning and academic management. So as we know, I mean, most of us are here are the scholars. So we can, this slide is really important. How personalized learning, adaptive systems for individual needs. As you know, everybody doesn't have the same mindset, same brain capacity to understand things. Even you go for a classroom and someone teach, right? Not every student understands at the same level. So to analyze that, we can use there is adaptive AI system, customized content qualities, difficulty, style, and pacing to meet every individual's learning needs. For example, Duolingo, as I think some of you may have already know about it, Duolingo AI algorithm personalize lessons based on user progress and error pattern. So that's really important and a very advanced system, Duolingo. And also smart administration, it's automated grading and analytics. Actually, the good thing about AI is AI can automate the repetitive tasks that we do, every day. So for example, AI automates grading and feedback. It can automate grading and feedback, helping educators focus on mentoring and engagement. For example, the Turnitin, as most of you know already, Turnitin can detect not just the plagiarism, but also whether that student has used artificial intelligence too much for their assignments. So that really support for the scholars worldwide in maintaining academic integrity. As scholars, right, one of the main problems that we are facing nowadays, students use AI for their for their education, right, for writing assignment, even for writing essays. So that's a really emerging issue that all the university professors, even in the colleges, that we are facing. So we can use Turnitin, and most of the universities they use, then they can detect the plagiarism level and also the AI level. And also predictive insight, identifying at risk learners early. As you know, as I told you before, not everyone has the same brain capacity. There may be some students who don't understand things because they are ADHD children. As you know, ADHD means attention deficit hyperactive disorder, right? So for example, the Open University in UK, they use predictive AI to identify such students early and provide targeted intervention. As you know, ADHD student can't learn in the same, in the same pace as other students. Even when they go for exam, they should be given extra time to complete the task. But to do that, we should identify first whether this student having some difficulties. So that's where the AI come into play. And access and equity, bridging rural and low resource gaps. AI extend quality learning to underserved population through multilingual and mobile-first solution. I think I read 2 days ago, I read a article. In that article, the chief of the IMF, as you know, International Monetary Fund, IMF chief says most of the developing countries, they don't have enough resources for AI. So because of that, rich getting richer, which means countries like US, China, they are rich countries, they have enough resources, right? So they invest a lot on infrastructures to develop more AI tools. As you know, the DeepSeek, which has been introduced by China, it was really emerging. It was threatening to ChatGPT. So likewise, there's the problem with the developing countries like Sri Lanka, I would say. But the problem is they don't invest much on AI. So because of that, there is a huge gap now. So it can be a problem for equity. Equality. So that can be a huge problem, right? Everybody don't get the same opportunity because of that. In rural, if you go to rural areas, forget about AI, right? They may not even have proper electricity, right? So these are the issues. And research support, AI-assisted academic writing analysis. AI helps academics to summarize, cross-references, and evaluate literature more efficiently. Some would argue, how can AI, should we really use AI for research? Is it really ethical? You can take the assistance. I'm not telling that they can, the students should copy and paste, right? But they can use it as a, like a tool to get more knowledge, right? Not just just as a tool, but not copy and paste. That's not ethical. That's not the academic integrity. And if you can if you know, I think the Perplexity or something, there's a nice AI tool. You can take the assistance from that to find peer reviewed and high impact factor journal articles. You can use that software especially for researchers. And also Cite.ai and even ChatGPT, you can use it as assistance in mapping citations and verifying resources. And I'm going to go to the next slide. in leadership and institutional management. I'm going to talk about this much because I think one of our professor from our university, Dr. Padmasri, already covered how AI can have an impact in management and also in HR. But I will just briefly explain. Enhanced strategic decision making. Of course, if you take marketers, they nowadays most of the marketers in blue chip companies, right? They take informed decision by using the data. How you get the data? You get the data from AI. You can use AI. We say AI driven decision making. That's really important, rather than taking decision based on your gut feeling, and also rather than taking decision based on your emotions. And also it optimize resource allocation and reporting. That's really important because AI tools manage scheduling, budgeting, and reporting for better operational efficiency. For example, in New Zealand hospital, they use AI to predict the patient flow. So accordingly, they can allocate staff. Because what's the reason? Because not like in our countries, in countries like New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the labor is really expensive. You can't just put the way you want. I mean, you can't just roster the way you want. If it's not busy, I mean, there's no point that you are rostering more staff, right? How are you gonna, but how are you gonna plan it? How are you gonna predict that? You can use AI, right? So that's there. And also improves employee engagement and performance. AI platforms analyze feedback and recommend personalized development paths, improving motivation and retention. For example, IBM, Watson Career Coach, tell us learning suggestion for employees globally. So you can use certain AI, platforms for performance evaluation, right? And also it supports ethical governance and transparency, and enable remote collaboration and innovation. AI enhance communication through transcription, summarization, and workflow automation tools. For example, some people argue AI can replace jobs, right? Yeah, for a certain extent, it's true. But at the same time, it also can automate the repetitive tasks that we do every day. For example, if we have to send an email every day at 8 a.m., we can automate it through AI, right? So those are the, so we can allocate that person to do something else. So we can utilize our resources, right? So that's how we do it. So you can do everything thanks to AI. And then while AI drives progress, certainly there are some challenges. Some people, it's not here, it's not in my slide. Some people argue AI can hinder critical thinking. For a certain extent, it's true. I was listening to one of the nice TED talk recently from a Harvard professor. He was saying that there were two groups, right? And one group, there were like one group, there was like one group, and they allocated one group for AI and allocated ChatGPT as an AI and as AI tutor. And they allocated the other group for a very experienced professor, maybe a tutor. And after like 2 weeks of classes, right? So what happened? They were given test. The group who had the human tutor got more marks than the group who got the assistant from the AI. What's the reason? Because AI that's the thing. You should work with AI. You should work with and around AI. You should not just copy and paste. So that's the thing. You should get ideas from the AI. It's fine. But who takes the accountability? If you can, so for example, there was another nice example from the same university, Harvard. There was a professor, right? He has told his undergraduate students, okay, open up a business, put a price. Select a product the way you want, because we're going to teach you how the entrepreneurship works, right? So one of the students, what he has done, he selected shoes as the product, and even he priced as $50, right? Then what happened? The professor asked from the student, why did you select shoes and why did you select that price? Then student said, because ChatGPT told me. This is the issue. That's the problem, right? So the problem with the AI, who takes the accountability? If you ask something, it gives the answer instantly. Problem with the generative AI, but who takes the accountability? Where is the reference, right? How do we know whether it's really correct? What you can do is to minimize that. Once we get an answer, we can check in the Google, we can find a journal article, maybe a book to to get the reference. I mean, to know whether it's true. And also the issue with the privacy and data protection concern. This is one of the biggest issue, because data breach, and people talk about, AI can take all your data and it may very, I mean, like, it can even blackmail you, and it can do very it can be a really problem in the long run. So people say like that. So that's one of the issue. And also labor market disruption. So some people argue, as I told you before, AI can replace job for jobs like data entry, and also like, creative writing. So those are the jobs that can be that who are, I mean, those are the jobs which are in risk because of AI. And environmental footprint of large AI systems. So aligning AI with the UN SDGs. So these are the key intersection between AI and sustainable development. So for quality education, AI tutoring and learning analytics, as you know, all the students in the world, right? They don't have the same. I mean, they don't get there are no enough human tutors to teach those students, right? Some students may be struggling with certain human tutors, but if they can use AI, they can ask tons of questions. They can ask personalized questions. Maybe students, they are afraid to ask questions from the tutor. So this can be a good solution, right? And SDG 8, decent work, innovation driven job creation. Why not? As you can see, parallelly, there are so many jobs in the cybersecurity field now, because AI is booming. At the same time, there is a risk. So we should have cybersecurity specialists, right, to mitigate the risk. And also SDG 13, climate action. They can take data-driven decision, energy, and we can create energy efficient AI application. And SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. AI for transparency and anti-corruption. So the role of education leader, these are the recommendations. We should promote AI literacy among students and the staff. For example, we say our students not to use AI, but once they go to the corporate sector, they can see that, okay, everybody is using AI. Even a simple email is generated by AI. But when you go to the corporate office, corporate world, there's no such restriction. Then why do we put so much restriction for our students not to use AI? They can use to a certain extent under supervision. That's what I'm saying. And integrate AI into curricula ethically. We should teach AI for the students from the undergraduate level. For MBA, like, we should teach AI as a module, right? So then only once they go to the corporate world, they can take data-driven decisions and use AI for data-driven academic management. Even for academic staff, they can use AI. It can be a nice teaching assistant for you, right? We are not going to, for example, if we have to teach something, right, today for students, we are not going to generate everything from AI and teach the students. Of course, we are scholars, we're not going to do that, right? We can ask from ChatGPT, and at the same time, we have to make sure is this correct. We can find journal articles to support this, or maybe the books, right, to support this. Then only we are going to teach the students and build partnerships aligning technology with sustainability. And this is my conclusion. The challenge lies not in what AI can do, but in what we choose to do with it, according to Mishra and Vanchi in 2024. That's very bold statement. AI, and also this is one of the famous statement, because everybody asking, will AI replace jobs? It's not. AI will not replace jobs, but those who know AI will be replaced by those who know. That's the problem. That's where our responsibility pop in, right? We have to educate our students to make sure they are industry ready. Once they go to the corporate world. So without AI, of course, you can't survive. So that's the problem. And AI is tool for transformation, not a replacement. Don't get confused. This is one of the misconceptions. AI can never be a replacement. It's a transformation. As I told you before, human intervention is critically important. And let's use it to educate, empower, and elevate humanity. And together we can build a just, inclusive, and sustainable digital future. And these are my references. If anybody want to go to certain articles and read, if anybody really interested about generative AI and how it can impact on higher education, is the references. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much, Doc, for that insightful and very exceptional presentation. You have talked masterfully and articulated the transformative power of artificial intelligence as a cornerstone of digital transformation for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. I believe that you have brilliantly connected the theoretical potential of AI to tangible applications according to the exemplary activities and practices that you have highlighted. This takes us to, we are against the time. We had believed that this seminar would take us to from 9 to 11 a.m., but you would bear with me that we have two speakers remaining that I would like to receive at the moment. Kindly allow me to welcome Dr. Tuton Chandra Malik, the Chairman and Associate Professor, the Department of Electrical and
Mr.
Electronic
Momin
Engineering.
Hello, there is a mistake.
Sorry?
Mr. Tuton sir has presented already. Now our another professor from CSE department, Mr. King Shu, is going to present. Mr. King Shu from CSE Premier University.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. So.
Okay, respected guest. Okay, respected guest and participant, a very good noon to you all. It is an honor and privilege to speak before you today on a topic that is shaping the very future of our nation and the world: digital transformation and emerging technology for sustainable development. In today's era, digital transformation is no longer a choice, it is a necessity. It is about using technology to improve the way we live, work, or serve our communities. From the government service to business operation, education, healthcare, and agriculture, digital innovation is driving process in every sectors. Our country has already made a remarkable studies under the vision of Digital Bangladesh. Over the last decade, we have witnessed the expansion of internet connectivity to rural areas, the introduction of e-government service, and the rise of mobile financial systems such as Bikash Nagar and Rocket. These services has empowered the millions of people to provide easy access to banking, education, and public services. Now, as we move to the next phase, Smart Bangladesh 2041, digital transformation is taking to an even more ambitious role. The version focuses not only to digitalization, but also on sustainability, innovation, and inclusiveness. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, blockchain, and cloud computing are creating new opportunities for the sustainable growth. In agriculture, IoT-based smart farming is helping farmers to optimize the water use, monitor the soil health, and increase the productivity with fewer resources. In healthcare, telemedicine and AI diagnosis has binding the gaps in rural medical services. In education, online learning platforms are making quality education accessible to the student in the rural areas. In government, digital platforms are enhancing the transparency, efficiency, and citizen participation. These innovations align perfect with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly goal related to the quality education, economic growth, and reduce inequality and climate change. However, the journey is not without challenges. Digital literacy, cybersecurity risks, data privacy, and the unequal access to the technology still remain major barriers. Moreover, our digital growth must be environmentally sustainable, green technology, renewable energy uses, and the responsible for the e-waste management are vital for long-term progress. To achieve the sustainable digital transformation, Bangladesh must focus on the three key areas. They are building digital skills among the youth and the professionals to prepare for the AI-driven future. Encourage innovation and entrepreneurship through the research, startup incubation, and investment in the for the local talented. Ensuring inclusive and green growth so that no citizen or community is left behind in this digital revolution. Dear audience, digital transformation is not just about adapting the new tools. It is about refacing our mindset and creating smarter, fairer, and more sustainable society. Bangladesh has the vision, talent, and determination to lead in this journey. Together with the collaboration among the government, academia, and industry, we can transform digital potential into sustainable prosperity. Let's work together for a future where technology empowers every citizen, where Bangladesh stands not just as a digital nation, but as a smart and sustainable nation. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that wonderful presentation and insight that you've provided. I'm very much sure it is so much effective and impactful to our today's theme, which is digital transformation and emerging technologies for sustainable development. This takes us to the last speaker of today's session, if he is available, MD Azim, Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration, the World University of Bangladesh. You are most welcome, Professor. Professor Azim. Okay, if Professor Azim isn't present, please allow me to cross-check the comments on YouTube from our viewers that goes to a particular speakers, and then you'll give insights or reactions about them. A minute, please. Let me check the comments.
Hello, Engineer Jaffa, back in. So wait.
Apologies for the internet cutoff that I had. That's why I went off. Though I would like to bring this to your notice, our distinguished speakers and those who have been with us all along from the beginning, that your participation has been greatly impactful to this amazing seminar or conference that we have been taking on right away from 9 a.m. Here Somali time. I would like to thank as well as acknowledge that on behalf of Nile, the organizing committee of Nile University of Science and Technology, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our distinguished speakers, for those who have really done a great work for this conference to go or to take place, for sharing their invaluable insights and expertise today. I'm very much hopeful that your presentation have profoundly, of course, eliminated the critical intersection of digital transformation and emerging technologies and sustainable development, from a transformative potential of AI and the transparency offered by blockchain to the foundational role of connectivity through the 5G and also the Internet of Things, and the vital ethical considerations. Today's dialogue, I'm very much sure, that has been both enlightening and, of course, essential. A sincere thankful as well goes to all the participants, academics, researchers, industry professionals, as well as the students who have been with us from around the globe. Your engaging presence and thoughtful contributions are what make such a dialogue truly transformative. This seminar has enforced a powerful idea that technology is not only when guided by a purpose, but a collaboration in our most powerful ally is a resilient future. The conversations that we have had today are not the end, but a vital beginning of the future. We encourage you to continue with such kind of collaborations and impactful seminars in the future. Nile University and the organizing committee, they are taking this responsibility of coming up with publishing the ideas from different speakers in today's seminar to be published out as a document that other people could share for those who have not been with us today. So the proceedings of this seminar will be published, and we look forward to seeing the partnerships and projects that emerge for the connections made here. Thank you once again for your participation. And for those who haven't gotten the opportunity to participate, could be of any kind of reasons that have been maybe unprecedented, we are sure that next time things will work for us all better. Stay inspired, stay connected, and let us all be the drivers of a positive digital future. Maybe if I would, before I end this seminar, I would like to hear, maybe I've not gotten any question from our YouTube channel, but if there is any kind of clarification for those who are with us, the members, the participants who have been with us here in the Google Sec virtual class or virtual platform, your questions are highly welcome. And then that will take us to the closure of this seminar, if there isn't.
Hello, Mr. Momin Jaffer. I actually do not have any question, but I would actually like to thank you again. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Nile University for creating such a wonderful platform where intellectuals from different parts of the world can come together to share their valuable insights and their experiences. I would like to also thank the Eurasian University, Sri Lanka, the Neelam University, India, and the World University of Bangladesh. We look forward to future collaborations and continued partnerships as we work together towards the holistic development of our institutions. So thank you so much once again. Thank you.
We thank you for your participation in this amazing seminar or conference. And please, maybe next time when we call upon Premier University, I'm very much hopeful that it will be very much positive and open to our requests. So
Yes,
this
of course.
takes us to the closure of this seminar. Bye.